how do you remember all the details from the very first meeting you had with your loved one? Let's just say there was this one meeting with a very important person in your life, say somebody you idolize, and the first interaction or the first glance of that person is still fresh in your memory as a rose. That, my friend, is known as creating the first impression. My name is Ashna Ali and I'm an HR professional and a people manager. I'm serving in this industry since 6 years, and I'll help you understand what is the power of creating the first impression. Let's not get fooled by people saying that you cannot judge a book by its cover. Where I say that first impression cannot be created twice, it happens once in a lifetime. So let's just make it more efficient and an impactful one. Let's not underestimate the power of your first memory whenever you think of a person. How do you saw them? What clothes they were wearing? How they were looking? How they were acting? How they were talking? What was the tone of their voice? What were the gestures they were using? These are very important things and also underrated, because in the fast-paced generation of today, in the speed of life, we are forgetting what are the common etiquettes, or let's just say we are not tend to forgetting those etiquettes, but we somehow miss on those details. Being an HR manager, I interview candidates that come to me on everyday basis and I interact with these people. These are the few things that I have, conclusively drawn, and I have understood that by paying attention to these small details, they can actually ace the game of creating the first impression. Number 1, dress well. I really cannot emphasize on the importance of how much dressing well changes a person. It actually instantly puts you into a better mood. My rule is simple. When you dress well, you feel well, and you do well. These 3 things actually determine entire day. No matter how the day is going, how much work you have, or let's just say how hectic it is going to be. When you're feeling good, you actually have the capacity to do everything that is lined up for the day. Dressing well just not includes putting on all the expensive brands, or let's just say all the expensive things in the market or the shopping mall, and dressing up like a Christmas tree and saying that yes, you are dressed well. It also includes the proper grooming. Let's just say I'm decked up in a very nice Dolce & Gabbana suit, but as well as I'm wearing Jimmy Choo, but at the same time my hair are not properly done, my nail paint is chipped off, I have not moisturized my hands properly, and on top of that I have a bad breath, plus I'm not smelling good. These all things would immediately shift the focus from all the expensive brands that I'm wearing. So what I want to say is that it's just not about dressing up in expensive things or expensive attire, it's also about grooming and having a proper put together look. There's another perspective into this, which is choosing the right colors as per the occasion. These small things actually help a lot, and let's just say these are underestimated sometimes. We really don't understand the importance till we actually start practicing. If I am well suited up, but I have not taken a look on my dandruff on my scalp, let's just say my hair are somehow looking frizzy, I have not taken a quick look before coming inside the interview room, in the washroom, in the mirror, that how am I looking, or just let's just say I didn't notice that there is some leftover food stuck in my teeth, or I am not smelling properly because of the sweat in my underarms of all the rush that I've had to come to attend this interview, or let's just say an important meeting. These small things take away all the hard work that you have done planning this meeting. So always taking care of how you have dressed up, what kind of clothes you're wearing, are those ironed or not, and your shoes are clean or not, your nails, your cuticles are done or not, they are not bleeding, you are having a good breath, you're smelling nice. By smelling nice, I never mean you have to put on expensive perfumes or very heavy perfumes. You have to always be conscious on the choices of perfumes, because fragrance is something that puts somebody in an instant good mood as well as irritates somebody, because many people are allergic to fragrances as well. So you have to be very mindful of choosing what kind of scent you are putting on your body. So by taking care of these small things, and actually ace the first point, that is dressing well and grooming well. Number 2, and very important, is having a good posture. No matter how you have aced the first step of looking good by dressing well and proper grooming, if you're slouching in an interview seat, or let's just say you have closed your hands, or if you're not maintaining a proper eye contact, it'll be a meeting that will immediately be turned off, because you were not physically that much pleasing when you were meeting this important person. So having a good posture means having your back straight, chin up, and proper eye contact matters a lot. At the same time, whenever you are communicating with somebody, always make sure that your hands are not tied, or you have not blocked your hands like that. Always make sure you're maintaining a proper posture. You're using your hands while you're interacting. By using your hands, it should not mean you're having the aggressive movements of hands, or you're creating a havoc kind of thing, but you are making sure that your hands are being utilized in the frame of interaction. So the frame of interaction is basically an invisible box that includes an invisible box around me. I have to assume it like that, and I am putting my hands inside this box, and I am interacting with my hands as well whenever I am emphasizing on something that is important in that conversation. So always make sure that you are having a good posture while you're talking. You're not fidgeting, you're not shaking your leg, and you're not biting your nails, and you're making sure that you're sitting straight with a straight back. Your chin is up and your shoulders are dropped down with your back straight, and you're interacting confidently. This creates a lot of difference. Third and most underrated point is that pace yourself. By pacing yourself is that you choose to speak, taking the pauses, appropriate pauses when you're framing your sentence. In this manner, the other person is able to understand what you're speaking. I'll tell this with an example that I live in UAE, Dubai, and it's a cosmopolitan city where people from different nationalities are, surviving over here. We are all together working as a multinational culture over here. So the accent, the enunciation of words is different with different nationalities. English doesn't remain the same. Although it's the common language, but the pronunciation changes a lot with different nationalities. If I'm a person who's interacting with something very sped up, and I'm actually talking in a very fast manner, which is not even perceivable by the other person, this communication would not mean at all. So whenever you're talking, you should make sure that you're taking appropriate pauses, you're talking slowly, and you're this way you are creating a kind of interest, let's just say a suspense in the conversation. By taking pauses, I never mean that you have to talk very slowly and you have to make it boring, but you have to really make sure that you are making it very clear, proper, and audible to the other person. So pacing your conversation actually helps a lot. Fourth and very important, giving a firm handshake means a lot. Never give a fingerella. Firm handshake means that it should be straight, upright, and you should be always stretching your right arm for the handshake. You should be always sure that you're not giving a fingerella. Fingerella means sometimes ladies and young girls, sometimes they just want to give their fingers for the handshake, and they think that it's a kind of elegance or it's a kind of etiquette, but it's not so. You have to always make sure that it's a firm handshake. By firm, I mean to say you don't have to aggressively shake your hand, but it should be your hand should be felt, it should be warm, it should be gentle. You should not be pressing or making the other person feel very let's just say submissive, but you are being dominant, but you have to give a firm handshake. You should not be also not giving the fingerella, that it's just a normal handshake for the sake of having a handshake. So always make sure that this handshake is worth remembering in the first meeting. Number 5, and very important, always remember and always practice how you have to introduce yourself. You are going to meet a group of people that resonates with your field of work, or the domain that you're working in, or let's just say it's a common gathering, it's a party or anything, but you don't know how you have to introduce yourself. Let's just assume this is something, this is a place where you're going for the first time. So always make sure that you have created a pitch. So by pitch, I don't mean to say that you have to create a speech. You have to make sure that you have practiced yourself looking at the mirror, that how you'll be introducing yourself. By introducing yourself, that means you have to make sure that you have the proper pronunciation of your name, the designation or your occupation, whatever you are doing, and why you are here in this gathering. I'll give this example with the interviews that I take of the candidates. So they get nervous when they are attending an interview. And I, being an HR manager, my role comes into play. Like, I have to make sure that they feel comfortable when they are interacting with me. So I always ask them to take a pause and make sure that they are comfortable, so that they can start with introducing themselves. So this goes out to everybody. So you always have to make sure that there is something that you're adding in the introduction of yours that actually remains in the memory of the person you are introducing yourself to. So it should be something that is worth remembering. I would not say you have to give a kind of a filmy introduction, but you have to say something which is very pleasing. Or let's just say you have to first thank them as well after you have introduced yourself, that if you might have came late to the gathering, or let's just say you are attending the interview late, so you should be always thanking and as well as apologizing. So it has to go like, thank you so much for your patience, and I sincerely apologize if it might have caused inconvenience to you that I have reached a little bit late. So these things actually not let the other person stop thinking about you when you have exited the conversation, or you have left from the place. They think of you, of these they think of these gestures you used when you were interacting with them. So always make sure that your introduction is very good. In this era of digitization, artificial intelligence, where everything is getting so easy with the use of new age technologies, I really cannot forget a classic etiquette of sharing the physical business card. Yes, you heard it right. No matter how much digitization comes into play and how much we are using it, how much we are using the new age technologies, there is something that never changes about the classical things. Why I'm saying the sharing of physical business card when you're interacting for the first time to a formal meeting, leaves a lasting impression, is that this was something which was done physically. For, let's just say, I will give an example that you had this meeting with etiquettes, handed over your business card. So this was something they will remember. Okay, I met this person, and yeah, he was good. Okay, I remember I have his card as well. This cannot be repeated with the scanning thing and getting the digital card, because for that you might miss this out of the memory when you have met that person. So why? Because this was done physically, the exchange was the physical card was given to you, you will remember that person. And no matter, again I would say, because I'm an old soul, I cannot replace few classics with the new things and the new trends that are coming. But by this way, I am not at all against the technology, but there is something about sharing, physical business cards wherever you go. I would give this as an example. I'm an old soul. Whenever I go to the restaurants or cafes these days, they would share you a scanner to go to their menu. And that actually hurts me somewhere because I think that having a physical menu would be so better, and I'll be able to see the pictures or something like that. But it's okay. Even though I can see the pictures even in the tab through which they'll be taking me to their menu, but there's something about doing the classical things. There are few things that cannot be changed, I believe so. Maybe I'm an old soul. Let me know, what do you feel about this? But it remains one of the etiquettes as well that you should share your business card when you're meeting important contacts in terms of building your connections or professional meetings, and that should be taken into account. Seventh, and let's just talk about how important this point is, giving undivided attention. Let's just talk about how much important it is when you're interacting with an important person and you have, put your cell phone on silent, or it is, you have kept it facing towards the table, and you are making sure that you're completely engrossed in the conversation. This leaves a very lasting impression in the person's mind. As well as, you make sure that, you are completely involved in that conversation. This gives a kind of a feeling of importance to the other person, and it itself is puts you in a winning situation, because you really want this conversation to happen, and there should be something which should be fruitful, which would come out as a good result out of this conversation. So always make sure that you're giving an undivided attention to the person you're meeting, where the phone is a no-no. Apart from that, when you're meeting people in a public gathering, let's just say it's an exhibition or a seminar where you are going for the first time, and you have to meet many people at one time. Well, let's just assume that you're interacting with me, and there is another person who's coming who wants to interact with you also, because of the foundations of time. So you will be the most nicest manner would be, you will be saying, "Excuse me, Ashna, can I get back to you in just like 1 minute or 2 minutes? There is another guest also I need to meet, or there is another attendee I need to meet." That would put me also in a comfortable situation, because you asked me for giving this time to the other person, because the other person have himself or herself approached this person I was interacting to. So these are the small manners, my dears, create a big difference. So you should be always mindful of these things. Eighth and important is that acing the art of having a small conversation. Always make sure that your conversation, or let's just say your introduction, is not going as a prolonged speech. By prolonged speech, I mean you are not actually putting the other person in a situation that they start yawning or they start feeling bored, because this is the first time they're meeting you. There's nothing that is would keep them tied to you emotionally, but it'll be something that they'll be they'll be searching for the things that will make them curious about you. So always make sure that this comes with practice. There is nothing kind of a thumb rule in this, actually, how you have to master the art of having a small conversation. It actually comes with practice. So you need to make sure that you're using such kind of words, or your vocabulary, something like that, that is actually keeping the conversation very interesting, and it is very short and crisp. Number 9 is that do not boast about yourself when you're meeting for the first time this particular person, whoever it may be. It may be your special one, who's going to be your special one, future special one, or your professional connection, or somebody who's important in any manner. Okay, so always make sure that you're not boasting about yourself. The conversation should not be only about yourself. In this manner, the other person would just feel like, okay, I don't matter at all. It's all about her. So I met Ashna and she was talking all about herself. My goodness, I was that. And she was not at all, interested in knowing about how I feel about this conversation, or where I'm coming from, or whatever it is. So this goes out to the HR managers as well. So whenever you are hiring people, this is a kind of a small tip from me. I'm no expert, but this is something which I have learned from the experience, whatever I have, is that it's just not about telling the candidates about everything about the company in just one interaction. You have to always make sure that they are feeling involved, because they'll be, as a human being as well, they'll be entirely new person in this atmosphere, and between new people, it's about them first. Definitely it's about the company as well, but you have to make sure that it's just not about you boasting about the company culture, the work and the roles and responsibilities all at one conversation. No, take proper on different time intervals you can have this conversation. But now shifting from the HR's perspective, let's just say when you're interacting with your date for the first time and you're just posting about yourself, you're just talking about yourself, the girl immediately would change her mind, or the guy would immediately change his mind, because it's not at all about both of you, it's just about you. So instead of being self-centered, just make sure that you're listening as well. And the power of listening is something which is not be emphasized much actually, because you cannot be a good orator if you are not a good listener. And it's very important in this world, in this era today, that everybody should be a good listener before speaking what you want to express, because everybody wants to speak but nobody wants to listen. That is a problem. So if you are one who listens to people's opinions, so you actually make other person feel valued. They feel that there is an importance of them. So you eventually win at the first place, that you actually give importance to people. So always make sure that you just don't boast about yourself and you listen as well. 10th and most important thing I would say is that it's just don't impose your services that you are going to offer, or just impose all the things, all the information at just one meeting. This goes to all those people who are actually going to have the first meeting with their important clients or something. So you just don't have to impose anything on one person, because you're let's just say if you are a sales executive, or let's just say you're a sales manager, you're a marketing person, you'll be just not the first meeting is just not about the selling or just getting the deal done. You have to build the connection. It actually is a game of cooking, I would say. You'll not put all the ingredients all at once and expect the wonderful dish to come out. Proper timing, proper pauses, and the correct recipe is that when you have to put what. So it's like you have to make sure that this first interaction that you're having with the person, and let's just say if this is a personal meeting as well, you're going to meet an important person, a loved one as well, who will be the future loved one. So you will not impose your feelings, no matter how let's just say awestruck you are by their appearance. They are looking flawless, they are amazing. You just know that this is the person you have been waiting for entire life. So you will not actually impose your feelings in the first go. You would actually let it grow, let it actually evolve and develop over time. So always make sure that in the first meeting, or let's just say when you're creating the first impression, it's just not about imposing yourself, your services, or whatever you have to offer. You just wait for the correct time and build the connection. This is it, guys. These are the 10 tips that have actually helped me a lot, and I have guided my juniors and my colleagues and my friends that actually have helped them as well. So let me know if this works for you, and let me know if this resonates with you. It will mean world to me if this video puts some value in your in your day-to-day life, whether it is personal or professional. And just don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I would assure that I'll make such of the content again, which is relatable with all of you. And make sure that you share this video as well if you think that this would resonate with somebody troubling to create the first impression, or is confused about how to create the first impressions. So yes, just leave a thumbs up and let me know if you find anything that is also to be added as a part of creating the first impression tip in the comments. And I'll see you all very shortly. Thank you so much, and bye bye guys. I just hope this really works for all of you. Thank you.